Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Hoops fans. This is the second to the last scheduled game of the Chairman's Cup Philippines National Battle of the Champions Day 2. Slugfest between Team Iloilo Red, head coached by Coach Jofil Cercado, against the undefeated CEBU squad, mentored by Coach John Henry Velasco. Highly anticipated showdown between the home bets and the visitors. Before we start, this is your man in the deck, Robert Julian de la Peña, proudly calling the shots. And for those who aren't be able to visit the warehouse here in Molo, Iloilo, we are live both in our Facebook page and our YouTube channel, so please do subscribe, follow, like, and share so that the reach will go wide for those who will not be able to watch the games live here in our venue. And of course, Team Iloilo Red coming off a bounce-back win against Team Palawan, while Cebu earlier racked their second straight win and is aiming for an undefeated start here in the Chairman's Cup Philippines. And the starting fives are now ready. The referees are ready, and we are ready to witness this highly anticipated showdown between two talented programs. This is CEBU versus Team Iloilo Red. Of course, handling the point guard duties for Team Cebu is Mark Ivan Heraldez. Manning the paint is Ibanez. For Team Iloilo, trying to defend Ibanez is Jerrel Celoterio. Main guy Shan Yap is still in the first five, while Mark Mongal will be at the wing. Here we go. Tip off. Jump between Ibanez and Celoterio. First possession goes to Cebu. What will they run? You want their action to begin with a three-pointer, and that is good. That is Mark Ivan Heraldez from downtown, and Cebu off to a rousing start on the offensive end. Here's Panaligan, gives it up to Celoterio. Celoterio 4-3, in and out. Good tap by Yap. That floater is no good. Cebu wants to add to their lead. Here's Gokong, loses the ball, careless turnover. Iloilo Red regains the leather. "17 seconds left to operate for Team Iloilo Red. Panaligan wants that high pick and roll. He waves off Mongal. Cross pass. There's a three-pointer, and there's the answer for you. And that is Adam Belonio from the left corner, equalizing things. We are all at a three deadlock. Foul called on Panaligan. So far, both teams wanting to gain their momentum on the half-court offensive sets. They want to slow things down in this first quarter of action. Here's Disquitado, last game's best player. Will he make it back-to-back? And he does! And Mark Ivan Heraldez is feeling it from the Rainbow Country, cashing in two early three-pointers against Team Iloilo Red. Here's Yap, waves off those screens. That floater, no avail. And so far, Mark Ivan Heraldez lighting it up for Team Cebu with two early trays in just the first 2 minutes of action. Iloilo playing physical defense. Heraldez waves off the Ibanez screen. There's no roll. Good fake. Good sidestep. That is crafty. And that is good. And Mark Ivan Heraldez off to a rousing start. Already with 8 points, scoring all of Cebu's points in the first. The man is on a mission right now. Torching Iloilo Red. And the 8-second call has been completed. Cebu pumped up right now. They are off to a good start in the first quarter. Mark Ivan Heraldez unconscious right now with 8 points. Heraldez directing traffic. He navigates his options. There's the Ibanez screen. They want a swing action to Disquitado. Disquitado muscling his way. Good find and recognition. But that is in and out. Another turnover from Iloilo Red. Ibanez 4-3. And that this time is way off the mark. As Heraldez heat check missed. Team Iloilo Red trying to stop the bleeding. Cebu so far with a very pesky defense in the perimeter and on the full court. 10 seconds left. Panaligan, good no look away pass, but that is fumbled, and here's Cebu on the break. There's a foul whistled once again, and Panaligan now on his second foul. Iloilo starting point guard hounded by an early foul trouble here in the first quarter. So far, Cebu displaying two-way dominance, limiting Iloilo to just 3 points in almost 4 minutes of action. Tremendous defensive schemes deployed, of course, by Cebu's head coach John Henry Velasco, assisted by George Cometa and Phil Mercenio. Good defense by Iloilo. They will have the chance to score. Clavecilla back, replacing Panaligan. Will he make an impact? Celoterio decides for a long two, and that rims out. Heraldez, the waxing hot man so far, gives it up. There's a three from the right corner, and that is short, but Heraldez with an offensive board. He wants to dance against Clavecilla, but good defense so far. 8 seconds left. Here's Gokong at the top of the key. Good pass to Disquitado. That lefty tray is good. And Cebu off to a hot start. Already with 3 3-pointers in the first quarter. Now they lead 11-3. Time remaining in this first 5 minutes and 59 seconds. We will be back. And we are back in the remaining 5 minutes and 59 seconds of the first quarter. So far, Cebu having their way against Iloilo Red. They are just limiting the home bets to just 3 points in almost 5 minutes of action. How will Team Iloilo Red respond? Off a timeout, they want a fresh play off a half-court set. Multiple screen action so far for Team Iloilo. Clavicilla using that Celoterio pick. In and out dribble. Shanyap tasked for the attack. Celoterio for that midi, and that is short. Team Iloilo Red so far finding difficulty in scoring the bucket. Here's Disquitado, traveled. In personnel reshuffle for Team Cebu. Checking in is Vince Ibarita and Rad Silawan. Shanyap attacking, and there's a good swipe from Cebu to prevent that coast-to-coast layup. They call an inbounding play. There's a pop out. Yap is open momentarily. And here's Celoterio. He wants to try for another midi. And this time misses again. Celoterio so far struggling from the field. 0 of 3 from the perimeter. Here's Cebu on the attack. Good aggressive move, but there's a swipe. And Team Iloilo Red gets the possession. They want a fist play. There's the action from the right baseline. From the right elbow rather. But good defense so far from Team Cebu, harassing Iloilo Red. Here's Yap for the 2, and that is a good acrobatic layup from Shan Yap to end Team Iloilo Red's drought in the first. Score 11-5. Time remaining 4 minutes and 35 seconds. He waves off the man in the corner. He wants to take his man on an isolation island. Good step through move. Oh, what a sweet move! That is a crafty finish from Rad Silawan. And there's a steal once again. Open layup and back-to-back buckets from Team Cebu. That layup brought to you by Vince Kurt Ibarita. After that Yap layup, Cebu responded with a 4-point swing. Here's an open lefty three-pointer, and that is cash. That is pure from Mark Mungal of Team Iloilo Red. Geraldo is back on the court. Here's Gokang sidestepping his way, and Silawan open. But offensive board, good fake, and there's a foul whistled. And Marky Gokong heading to the line to shoot a pair of charity stripes. That's second. Earn a trip at the free throw line. Gokang cashes in the first. Gokong rather. Official time remaining in the first, 3 minutes and 43 seconds. Cebu leading by 8, 16-8 over Team Iloilo Red. And here's Clavicillas. They want to up the tempo this time, but Cebu quick to recover on the defensive end. Ibarita with that very pesky defense, and that pays off. Ibarita off to the races, and that layup, that signature two-handed scoop is cash for Ibarita. Good cut action right there, good passing, and that is cash right there. Good shot from Matthew Dordas underneath for Team Iloilo Red. Checking back and checking in rather for Iloilo is Fuentes. Good defense so far. Heraldes. Oh, what a move. Oh, Heraldes so far bringing the heat in the first quarter. What a move for the daredevil point guard. Mungal having difficulty. That is a 4-shot. Cebu with another defensive stop. Open layup for Disquitado. Good fake. And Disquitado is fouled underneath. Time remaining in this opening frame. 2 minutes and 35 seconds. Cebu starting to pull away from Team Iloilo Red. 21-10. Disquitado's first shot is good. Here's a chance for a perfect trip at the charity stripe. One of two, but another offensive board from Silawan. Battle for the loose boards, won again by Cebu. Kick out pass. Jumper is short. Here's Iloilo running. Good layup, but that is a miss. And Shan Yap couldn't recover that leather, but there's a steal. Good pass to Yap, but again rattles out. Iloilo playing hot potato in this first quarter. A series of misses, point blank misses. It's a sour start for the home bets. During that last possession, 3 open misses. "13 seconds left. Checking in for Cebu is Antonio Isifu. Good defense again by Cebu, making things hard for Iloilo and battle for the loose ball. But there's a whistle and they reward the possession to Cebu. Ibarita calling the play. "15 seconds left. Here's Disquitado hesitating. Good spin move. And he is fouled. That aggressiveness going it into the teeth of Iloilo Red's defense, paying off dividends as he returns to the charity stripe. Disquitado for the first throw. That is good. Disquitado is perfect from the charity stripe. And Cebu extends their lead to 14, 24-10. Time remaining in this opening frame, 1 minute and 37 seconds. Here's Team Iloilo Red. They are desperately needing for a basket to stop this bleeding. And again, that is a miss from Mungal. "15 seconds left to shoot for Team Iloilo Red. Here's Fuentes, good fake. Fuentes from the mid-range, and it's still short. Battle for the loose ball. And there's a foul on Team Iloilo Red. Loose ball foul on that scramble. And so far, Team Iloilo Red struggling in this very first quarter. They only scored 10 points in the first 9 minutes. While on the other hand, Cebu making a living in the free throw line as Silawan cashes in the first. Now they take a 15-point lead. Perfect from Silawan. And that relentless Cebu full court pressure, nearly stealing that ball away from Team Iloilo Red. Tremendous two-way effort so far from the boys from Cebu. Here's Fuentes. Gives it up to Clavicilia. Locating his options. Good play. But that pass is too high for Fuentes to catch. Here's Cebu on the attack. Silawan escapes that Iloilo Red full court press, going coast to coast, and he overcooks that layup. Here's Iloilo, Panaligan, looking for the open man. Good swing pass to Fuentes. Give and go again, wasted by Team Iloilo. Too many turnovers for the home bet so far. And there's a traveling violation whistled against Cebu. Time remaining 34.8 seconds. Cebu so far dominating this clash, 26-10. Final 34 seconds of the first. Panaligan gives it up to Yap. Here's Yap. Tumungal, that lefty floater is no good. Series of misses so far for Team Iloilo Red. Aggressive layup, good defense by Iloilo. And here's Yap, off to the races. There's a foul whistled, and Yap will finally have the chance to put Team Iloilo Red back on the scoring column. First shot is missed for Yap. Sorry, misses for Yap. And again, Iloilo struggling on the offensive end. But here's another chance. Fuentes to Yap. Yap finally scores for Iloilo. And that concludes the first quarter game between Team Iloilo Red against Cebu. Cebu so far leading 26-12. We will be back for more basketball action. And we are back for the second quarter action. So far, Team Cebu having all their way. So far, dominating Team Iloilo Red on both ends of the floor. They lead by 14 points. Lowest scoring quarter of Team Iloilo Red so far in the tournament. Only delivering 12 points in 10 minutes. Will they respond in the second quarter? What adjustments did Coach Cercado deploy to his wards? And on the other hand, can Cebu maintain this very pesky defense and aggressive offensive scheme? Here we go. Panaligan. Panaligan gets free. Panaligan for that jumper. And that is good. A good start for Team Iloilo Red. Brought to you by Panaligan's midi jumper. Risky steal right there, leaving Cebu. Oh, that is a step back move. And here's Iloilo. Yap on the attack. He loses the ball. Ibarita gives it up to Isifu. And there's a whistle underneath. 3 seconds violation whistled against Cebu. For 3, Panaligan. That is short. Ibarita collects the board. There's the same play. They are running. That off the curl. If ever there's a free shooter from the elbow or the corner, but there's no rotating man. But Silawan takes it into the gut of the defense of Team Iloilo Red. That is Rad Silawan. Very fearless on that drive. Here's Yap. He is blocked. Both teams making their respective changes in the early part of the second quarter. Fuentes underneath. Cebu wants to push. He asks a screen for this Quitado. And there's a traveling violation whistled on Gokong. Time remaining in the second quarter, 8 minutes and 18 seconds. Fuentes calls the play. Will they trim this to as much as 9 points? 11. Celoterio, finally, that mid-range jumper cashes in. After 4 straight misses, Celoterio is now on board. Geraldes, nifty ball handling. Disquitado, mano a mano. Good dribbling expedition. So far, Team Iloilo slowly chipping things away. Celoterio, short. Good hands by Panaligan. Fuentes aggressive on that drive, and that is short. Panaligan whistled for his 3rd foul. And Team Iloilo starting point guard already with 3 fouls. Here's Geraldes to Silawan. Good defense by Yap. Clouding Silawan on that possession. 7 seconds, Geraldes. Oh yes, he's still hot. He is still a spitfire from the 3-point territory. Geraldes maintaining the hot hands, giving Cebu a 15-point lead against Team Iloilo Red. Swing pass to Yap. Yap in and out dribble. That pass perfectly read again by Cebu. Here's Disquitado. He is fouled. And Disquitado with a chance to push Cebu's lead to as much as 17 points. First shot is good. Rims out that one. Pitch ahead pass to Yap. Yap fails to recover. Risky throw away by Iloilo. And Coach Jofil Cercado encouraging his wards to continue the effort on the defensive end. Heraldez, the man of the half. Good pass underneath. 4-3. That is way off the mark. Celoterio collects the board. Here's Yap against Heraldez defense. Celoterio. That fake. Overcooks the shot. Second attempt. Still no good. Clavicilia. Turnover. Time remaining in the second quarter, 6 minutes and 15 seconds. Heraldez using that Disquitado screen. Open shot for Cebu. That is strong. Yap with the board. Lost chance as Yap turnovers that one. Rewarding the possession back to Cebu. .13 seconds left. Here's Mustar. Back to Heraldez. That is way off the parking lot, and that is too strong. Here's Yap. Fast break play. Yap finally delivers. We are now halfway through the first half. Time remaining 5 minutes and 38 seconds. Heraldez, he wants to shoot that one, and that is too strong, but that friendly tap is missed by Ibanez. Iloilo on the attack. Here's Clavicilia. Open from the left corner. That is too strong. Here's Mustar. He wants to settle things down. Gives it up to Gokong. Drop pass. That is short. Foul whistled against Cebu for the battle of the loose ball. Score so far 32-18. And there's a timeout called by Team Iloilo. Time remaining in this second, 5 minutes and 7 seconds. Cebu is still in the driver's seat against Team Iloilo Red, 32-18. Back to the ball game. Coach Jofil Cercado calling another emergency timeout, trying to calm down his wards. Cebu so far dominating the matchup, maintaining the double-digit lead, and leading the way is Heraldez, unconscious from downtown, already with three pointers in just the first half of action. Here's Clavicilia, open. That is short. Offensive board, and Celoterio will head to the free throw line. Second attempt for Celoterio, and that is good. And Iloilo Red inches closer to within 13 points. Time remaining, 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Ibarita, handoff action. Here's Kokong, good crossover. Good drop pass to an open shooter, but Yap recovers for that block. Here's Iloilo Red, open on the other end. And that is good for Adam Belonio of Team Iloilo. This is just an 11-point game. Here's Heraldez. Cebu in the paint. Oh, muscling his way is Jake Ibanez of Cebu, scoring a deuce in the shaded lane. That cut read perfectly again. So far, Cebu reading Iloilo's passing lanes to perfection. Heraldez, open is Gokong, and there's a traveling violation whistled. Official time remaining in the second, 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Yap open from the left elbow, and Yap's offensive struggles continues. On the other end, Ibanez for the deuce. That is short. Ibarita with a sweet fake, and that is cash. Good use of that head fake to freeze the defender. Ibarita adding another deuce to his offensive tally. And Disquitado with that steal, but that layup is missed. Iloilo on the counter. Here's Mungal. He is fouled. Heading to the line is Mark Mungal of Team Iloilo Red. First shot is strong for Mungal. Second shot, Mungal. That is way off the mark. Back-to-back misses for Mungal. And Cebu with a chance to add to their tally. Here's Disquitado. Good recognition, but Yap with the tap. Clavicilia. There's a foul on Ibarita, overextending on that defensive possession. Warning for penalty. As Cebu's next foul will head Team Iloilo Red to the free throw line for the rest of the remaining 2 minutes and 40 seconds. 5 seconds left to shoot. Celoterio, and there's a steal again by Ibarita. Good bounce pass to Isifu. Isifu pulls back. Here's Heraldez. They want to slow things down, knowing that they are holding a big lead. Silawan. Good bounce pass, and that reverse is sweet from Disquitado. Good two-man play between Cebu's front court 1-2 punch. We are now having the biggest lead of the ball game at 17 points. Here's Yap. That again is strong. And Team Iloilo Red fortunately regains the leather after that fumbled possession from Cebu. Checking in from Team Cebu is Alex Suson. Fuentes to trigger. Celoterio tries a midi, and that again is way off the mark. Geraldes directing traffic. Here's Silawan. He wants to take his man on an isolation island. No picks given. But there's a slip. Wet floor. Here's Fuentes. 3-on-2. Give and go play. Good defense from Disquitado. Swiping that away from Fuentes. Time remaining 1 minute and 20 seconds. Disquitado from downtown. That is strong. Yap with the board. There's a foul whistled against Ibarita of Cebu. And that means penalty. And Iloilo Red will shoot the rest of the way in the remaining 1 minute and 13 seconds of the second quarter. Yap for the second attempt. Again, too strong. Disquitado with the board. Cebu still maintaining the 17-point lead. Final 1 minute of the first half. Ten seconds left for Geraldes. Geraldes drop pass to Disquitado. Good tap. Here's Iloilo on the break. Yap with the lefty pass. And that layup is good from Belonio. "15 seconds left. Silawan struggling with the Iloilo defense. But there's a foul whistled and Silawan will shoot some gimmies. No free throw will be given, rather. Fresh possession. Here's Ibarita for 3. That is too strong. And still Cebu ball. Time remaining in the second. 21.4. 8 seconds left in the shot clock. 5 seconds left. Silawan wants a clear out. He wants Celoterio. And that is a good contest from Celoterio. 1 second left. 1 second left for Team Cebu. So neither an catch and shoot or an alley-oop play. 1 second left. Alley-oop play. Failed to convert. Here's Cebu, Ibarita. That is a block from Celoterio. 3 seconds left. Ben Yap. Shani Yap rather, all the way. And that concludes our first half. Cebu leading by 15 points, 38-23. And we will be back for more basketball action here in the Chairman's Cup Philippines National Battle of the Champions. And we are back for the second half of action. Cebu leading 38-25 against Team Iloilo Red. But before we start, let us hear the halftime update from our courtside reporter, Christine. Christine?
Thank you, Robert. So for our halftime update between Cebu and Iloilo, once again, the score is 38-25. We spoke with Cebu's assistant coach, George Cometa, and he said that their defense is really great and their team play has been executed greatly as well. With regard naman sa Iloilo, we spoke with the assistant coach, RR, and he said that he had a slow start, they lacked the defense and a few turnovers, so they really need to work on their defense. Lead pointer for Cebu is Geralde with 13 points, while the lead pointer for Iloilo is Yap with 8 points. So that is it for our halftime update. This is once again your courtside reporter, Christine, for Chairman's Cup Philippines. Back to you, Robert.
Thank you, Christine. And Iloilo Red opening this second half with a score on the break. Cebu wants to counter. So far, Team Iloilo Red sparked up with their defensive stop. Silawan from the corner, no good, but that tap. And now Cebu is on board. Scoring that deuce is Rosen Buntuyan.
Team Cebu go on number 11 to number 2 Heraldes. Traveling violation, tawag ng ating referee. Babalik ang bola sa Iloilo Red. Official score, Cebu 40, Iloilo Red 27. Third quarter remaining time, 8 minutes and 22 seconds. Fuentes may tangan ng bola ngayon, binabantayan ni Heraldes number 2 ng Cebu. Sa gitna, nabitawan. Nakuha ni Silawan ng bola. Bigay sa Goong number 11. Goong. Didiskarte. Bigay kay Silawan number sa gitna. Teardrop. Wala. Malakas ang tira. Nakuha ni number 4. Boloso. Bigay sa number 1 Fuentes ng Team Iloilo Red. Fuentes. Bigay kay Sean Yap number 15. Sean Yap to Belonia, back to Sean Yap. Yap to Fuentes, fake, center step, layup, no good, rebound by number 17 Silawan ng Team Cebu. Goong number 11, binabantayan ni Fuentes. Heraldes kay sa gitna ay Silawan, fake. Wala, agawa ng bola, nakuha ni Bontoyan, number 3 kay Silawan. Number 11 Goong, number 2 Heraldes to number 3 Bontoyan, titira ng dress. Tapos nakuha sa ilalim number 9 Ibanez, good for 2. Shanjap, jump shot, elbow, no good. Rebound by number 2 Heraldes of Team Cebu. Heraldes, binakaba ang bola, pinapatay ni Fuentes, number 1 ng Team Iloilo. Goong, Silawan, iba niya sa ilalim. Labas ang bola kay Silawan, titira ng dress, number 7 Silawan. Go for 3, number 7 din Silawan, 3 points! Official score natin, Cebu 45, Iloilo Red 27, remaining time, 6 minutes and 30 seconds sa ating third quarter. Mababalik tayo pagkatapos ng kunting paalala. Maraming salamat.
his complete skill set against Team Iloilo Red and 20 points. Here's Clavicilia. Yap is open. 4-3. That is way too short. But Clavicilia was able to do the cleanup job. "12 seconds left to shoot. Heraldes once again dancing against Clavicilia. Silawan having difficulty. Swing pass to Disquitado. And the board collected by Yap. Here's Iloilo Red. Here's Mongal muscling his way. And that attempt is to no avail as Cebu with another defensive stop. Here's Gokang sidestepping. In and out, Silawan for the offensive board. But Iloilo steals. Good pass. Here's Yap underneath. And that is good. And Cebu calling a timeout. But they still lead 47-31. We will be back for more basketball action. Here's Heraldes. Kicking things off for Cebu off that timeout. Here's Silawan. They're waiting to generate their offense. Silawan attacks. Dordas. Silawan with that lefty, crafty finish. And that is good for Silawan. Good use of that offhand. Ibarita near steal. Here's Yap, good fake, and Yap is fouled on his way for a layup. Time remaining in this third, 3 minutes and 24 seconds. And again, for those of you who will not be able to make it in our venue here at the warehouse in Molo, Iloilo, we have 2 Facebook live streams, both in our Facebook page, Chairman's Cup Philippines, and our YouTube channel. So please like, subscribe, and share. Yap on the free throw line. Second attempt is missed. And it's Cebu basketball. Heraldes, too slippery for Clavicilias. Disquitado, and that is a good stop. 4-on-2. Here's Yap. That layup cashes in. And Yap inches Team Iloilo Red closer, 49-34. Handoff play to Ibarita. He uses that Silawan pick. 10 seconds left to operate. Heraldos from way downtown. And that is good. Heraldes is still on a heater. Another shot from the parking lot. Man, oh man, he's on fire right now against Team Iloilo Red. Pick and roll play broken. Good tap from Team Cebu. Time remaining, 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Cebu with a comfortable lead. They're up by 18 points. Silawan to Disquitado. That reverse is good. Two-man game again, working wonders for Team Cebu. Silawan with a dime to Disquitado. And Coach Jofil Cercado trying to get some spark from Neil Habanya, who just checked in for the Iloilo Red. 17 seconds left. Here's Dordas at the post. Big boy move and he is fouled. Good aggressive attempt from Dordas against the outstretched arms of Disquitado at the post. Here's Dordas. First shot is too strong. Will he be able to make it up? No, he doesn't. And Cebu again on the attack. 1 minute and 50 seconds. Here's Liagas handling point guard duties. 10 seconds left. Ibarita finding options right now. He wants that pick from De La Cruz. Here's Liagas fading away. That is too strong. And Team Iloilo Red ball. Clavecillas against the defense of Ibarita. And a pickpocketing job from Ibarita resulting to an open layup. Tremendous mano-a-mano defense from the Cebuano guard against Clavecilla. Here's Habanya. Final 1 minute of the third. They want Yap to produce some points, but he was met by a double. And again, Ibarita, that lefty finish cashes in. Ibarita is all over the place right now. He is causing havoc, breaking Iloilo's offense with his pesky defensive touches. Yap is fouled on the way to the cup. And this lead has grown to as much as 24 points. Game getting out of hand for Team Iloilo Red, while Cebu having their way for 3 straight quarters. Efficient outing both on the offense and the defensive end, kicked off by that waxing heart Heraldes start, and now backed by that defense of Ibarita, who just pickpocketed Iloilo twice in a row. Yeah, for the second throw. Too strong, but the offensive board by Dordas counts. Here's Liagas. In and out dribble. Ibarita wants to settle his teammates down as the shot clock is down to 9. Uses that pick. Here's Isifu from downtown. That is short. Iloilo with a chance for the last shot of the quarter. Yap rushing down the lane. He is fouled. And a good aggressive move from Shan Yap. And Yap misses that first attempt. Second throw is good. 8 seconds left for Cebu. They want to rush these things up. Here's Liagas. Isifu from 3. No good. There's the hoist. And that concludes the third quarter. Cebu starting to pull away. Now they lead by 21 points, 58 to 37, and we will be back for the final quarter of action. Iloilo Red. Cebu now holding a 21-point lead, 58 to 37. Good effort on both ends of the floor from the visitors. On the other hand, Team Iloilo Red struggling to find the mark and has also struggled with their turnovers. Here we go, last 10 minutes of redemption. Another steal. Ibarita, very pesky. And we have a man down. Injury for Team Cebu. Silawan, hoping that nothing serious for Cebu's front court personnel. And we are back to the ball game. Couple of personnel reshuffle for both teams. Here's Liagas. Wants that Disquitado pick. Here's Sifu fumbling that possession. Disquitado stepping back. 3 seconds left. Cebu with that wild attack. Oh, that goes in for Marky Gokong just when we thought that that was a bad shot. But that was a real definition of turning garbage into gold as Gokong somehow manages to cash that one in. Here's Belonio for 3, and that is way off the mark. Disquitado with the board. And Iloilo Red's shooting struggles continues as Belonio fails to sink that in. Checking in for Cebu is Rosen Buntuyan. Here's Liagas. Against the defense of Aliado. Disquitado steps back, and that is short. Belonio. Hand off to Fuentes. Fuentes wants that door, that's picked. Fuentes nowhere to go. Good fake by Yap. That is a traveling violation against Yap. And still, Team Iloilo failing to find the mark so far. Here in the fourth quarter, Cebu dominating this game. Here's Liagas. Off balance. Jumper finds a way to convert that one. Fuentes instructs his warriors directing traffic. Will this be a high pick and roll against the defense of Isifu? Belonio, 4-3. Still no good. But Isifu couldn't handle that rock. "14 seconds left to shoot for Team Iloilo Red. Fuentes to trigger the leather. That shot is no good for Aliado. Here's Disquitado slowing things down. Disquitado in and out dribble, spin move. Good pass to Isifu. He's open and still couldn't find his rhythm. Is Isifu. Time remaining in this fourth. 7 minutes and 27 seconds. Score, Cebu dominating Iloilo 62-37. Here's Liagas. There's a whistle. Traveling violation against Liagas. And again, for those of you, please be aware that we have two simultaneous Facebook streams. Two simultaneous live streams, both in our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. So please do subscribe, please share, and please watch the games. We're back in action. Here's Yap of Team Iloilo Red, in and out dribble. That layup is pure from Yap. And there's a steal. Yap working his way in the paint. Finds Belonio, that lefty fadeaway, and 4 straight points by Team Iloilo Red. And another steal. And there's a foul whistled against Cebu. Will this be the momentum-changing play for Team Iloilo Red? Timeout called. We will be back. And we're back in action. Team Iloilo Red starting to have some momentum after completing back-to-back steals, and now they'll have the chance to trim this down. Fuentes to trigger the inbound. Open is Aliado from downtown, and that is way off the mark. There's the double. De La Cruz to Gokong. 10 seconds left to operate. There's a tap. And Team Cebu retains possession. There's the play. Here's Silawan. 5 seconds left. Silawan for that midi. And Iloilo again with a chance to score on this possession. Fuentes to Belonio. Fuentes for 3. In and out. Veteran move right there from Gokong. Bouncing the ball away. Last touch, Team Iloilo Red. Ten seconds left. Good defense so far. Here's Gokong. Fresh 24. Open midi from Ibanez. That is short. Here's Yap on the attack. But there's a swipe from Silawan. Good defense from Cebu to prevent that breakaway layup from Team Iloilo Red. Ibanez waving off that handoff. There's a foul. Crafty move from the big man, waving off that handoff play and decided to attack. Ibanez will shoot a pair of free throws. Ibanez for the second throw. In and out. And it's Iloilo Red's ball. Time remaining in this final canto, 5 minutes and 17 seconds. Cebu leading by 21 points, 62-41. Here's Fuentes, good pass. Belonio is open. Follow up, no good. Cebu collects the board. And Cebu retains possession. Here's Ibanez securing the leather. Waits for his point guard. Silawan wants to navigate his options. Ibanez mano-a-mano in the paint. Good pass underneath to De La Cruz. And Cebu's two-man game between their front court is working wonders. That Deuce now extends their lead to 23 points, 64-41. Belonio 4-3, still no good. Time remaining, 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Turnover from Cebu. Iloilo Red with a chance to trim their deficit. Will there still be enough time for Team Iloilo Red to mount a courageous comeback down by 23 points? 4 minutes and 20 seconds. But so far, Cebu very consistent on both ends of the floor. Scoring efficiently and hounding Iloilo Red on the defensive end with their pesky hands. And we are back to the ball game. And Cebu has been warned for delaying of the game. Action continues with Team Iloilo Red on the attack. Here's Fuentes. Waves off that handoff. Here's Yap receiving the ball. Belonio for 3. And he is fouled and will shoot 3 shots in the free throw line. Offensive board for Iloilo. And Cebu basketball. Final 4 minutes of this fourth. Cebu still up 22 points. And there's a steal, but he dribbled it out of bounds. Unfortunate incident there for Team Iloilo as they are trying to chop this lead down bit by bit with desperate full court defensive pressure. Geraldes back. Here's Silawan at the post. He wants to take on Yap. Oh, that's a good move. And a fadeaway jumper from Silawan is pure. 3 minutes 25 remaining. Here's Fuentes to Yap. Yap for 3. That is good. Finally, Yap knocking that down from long distance. Cebu rushing down the court. Lefty floater. Rush shot is no good. Here's Belonio. 3 seconds left. They want to score quick. Yap. Back-to-back 3-pointers from Sean Yap. And this lead is down to 18. Geraldes. Good move. And better defense. Here comes Iloilo Red. And he is fouled. Heading to the line is Andre Aliado with a chance to keep Iloilo Red closer. First shot for Aliado. Missed. Aliado for the second throw. Back-to-back misses for Team Iloilo Red. And that has been the story of this game so far. Here's Silawan open from downtown. That is short. Fuentes rushing down the court. He check. Yap steps back. And that is a wild miss. Didn't even touch the rim and the net. Press deployed by Iloilo Red, but Geraldes easily cruises past the half-court line. 13 seconds left. Silawan wants another ISO. Good pass underneath, but De La Cruz couldn't handle the rock. And another timeout burned by Team Iloilo Red. Cebu still up 66-48. Time remaining 2 minutes. We will be back for more action. Team Iloilo burning another timeout. They want to have a perfect outing in the final 2 minutes of the ball game. Will they be able to do some miraculous things to erase this 18-point lead by Cebu? Let us witness the final 2 minutes here in the second to the last scheduled game of the Chairman's Cup Philippines. Good play. Fuentes is open, and that is short again for Iloilo. 1 minute and 45 seconds left. De La Cruz pitches the pass. Here's Silawan. Heraldez. Good fake. And wide open is Buntuyan, and he is fouled on that three-point attempt. Careless foul by Iloilo Red, sending Cebu back to the free throw line. First shot is strong. Last attempt from Buntuyan at the charity stripe. In and out. Here's Dordas for the board. Fuentes. Desperate times for Team Iloilo Red. Here's Aliado. 11 seconds left to shoot. And Cebu was able to swipe that ball. Another stop, and this might be it. Time remaining only 1 minute and 5 seconds. Cebu protecting a 19-point lead. This has gone way too out of hand for Team Iloilo Red. Team Cebu playing very efficient on both ends of the floor, and they are 50 seconds away from extending their undefeated start here in the Chairman's Cup Philippines. Buntuyan, good pass underneath to Heraldez for the board. And ladies and gentlemen, we are not yet done for the last game of today's schedule. We have Team Iloilo White going up against Cagayan de Oro. We are 30 seconds away in this game between Cebu and Iloilo Red. For those of you who wants to watch the games on live streaming platforms, we are live both in Facebook and YouTube. You may like, subscribe, and share those live streams. What a performance from Cebu. First half, it was Heraldez carrying the fort, leading in the offensive department, and everyone just came along. The likes of Ibarita on the defensive end, and Silawan on that mid-post area. And that again is the second to the last game, with Cebu dominating Iloilo 71-53. And that ends the second to the last game of the Chairman's Cup Philippines National Battle of the Champions.